Good day. I hope all is going well with you while you are sitting there watching these videos. I know doing it this way is not quite the way that I enjoy teaching it, but I do like getting you all the information and hopefully educating you some dealing with World War I and leading up to it. What I want to talk about today in this video, again, these videos are shorter, and the topic I'm going to have today is going to be between the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand and the start of hostilities in World War I. Now, I will talk a little bit about other things that happened before that are pretty important and different things like that, and some of the different characters and combatants that are in this, but that's what I'll be talking about today. I actually already made this video once, but after going through and making it, I wasn't satisfied with it, and so I deleted that video, and I'm actually redoing it now with a little bit more detail, a little bit more emphasis on some particular topics. Now, June 28th. 1914. That is when the Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. Now remember, the Archduke was the crown prince. He was next in line to be the emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And that's a huge deal. He's a very, very important person in that realm. Today, we don't really have hereditary leadership that takes over in our government. We have elections with presidents, things like that. But this is the kind of idea, if you want to think of it as somebody assassinating the vice president, and the vice president is the president's son. And so this is a big deal, what goes through here. And remember, this was a Serbian national, somebody from the country of Serbia. He was part, or at least maybe not part of, like I mentioned in the last videos, but he was associated with the group called the Black Hand. And being associated with the group of the Black Hand, those were some Serbian officials, some actual officers and military personnel and government officials that wanted to destroy the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and really pushed for Serbian independence and Serbs to be able to do what they wanted on their own without the oversight of this empire that was there. And so this Serbian national goes through in another part of the empire. He's visiting, the Archduke Ferdinand is visiting Bosnia at this point, and Sarajevo is the country or the city that he's in there. And so he assassinates him. Well, obviously Austria-Hungary is furious at Serbia because they do blame the Serbs as total for this happening. They blame the country of Serbia because they know some of the individuals in the upper governmental military system of Serbia were encouraging this, were actually hoping that this would happen. Not only that, but they go through there and riots and protests, both pro-Serb and anti-Serb protests and riots begin happening throughout portions of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And Austria-Hungary wants Serbia to pay. Again, now it may not have been necessarily Serbia's fault that this happened, but there were key individuals in Serbia that wanted this and allowed this to happen, even encouraged it behind the scenes, kind of secretly they were doing this. Well, that happened on June 28th. July 23rd, less than a month later, Serbia is given a list of demands by the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And these demands are extreme. Most of them are along the lines of, you will destroy all anti-Hungarian propaganda, you will find, arrest, and maybe even execute the revolutionary people within your nation that are against the empire. You will tell us when you do this. All these things here, like things that Serbia as a nation looked at, or as a country said, we can't do that. Even if we agreed with you, Austria-Hungary, that this needs to be done, the fact that you were telling us to do this, we can't do it. These are extreme, extreme things that they're calling for them to do. And so Austria can't do it. Or sorry, Serbia can't do it. Well, I want to stop there for a moment and look at some of these players that are about to happen here. Remember that there are alliances that have been made. You have Germany that is allied with Austria-Hungary. You have France and Russia that are allied together. You have you have Britain that's allied with France. And you have Serbia, who's also allied with Russia. So you have all of these alliances, all of these interlocking webs that are going to develop here. Well, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire realizes there's no way Serbia is going to meet our demands. We don't even want them to meet our demands because we want to defeat them. We want to take their territory, bring them into the empire. So we're going to send this ridiculous set of commands, and when they can't do it, we'll go to war against them. Problem was, Austria-Hungary realized we can't go to war till at least July 25th. So July 23rd is when they give the demands. They've been kind of mobilizing their army. That's the word mobilize means getting ready. They're mobilizing their army to go and attack Serbia. So they give the demands on the 23rd. And on the 25th, Austria realizes, okay, this is where we're going to go, July 25th. And on July 25th, when Serbia gets the demands, they've talked about it for 2 days, they realize they can't do any of this, they begin mobilizing their military. Because they see Austria is about to attack. Well, when Serbia begins to mobilize its military, Russia, its ally, begins to mobilize its military in a partial way there. So you have Austria-Hungary, who's getting ready for war. Then you have Serbia, who's getting ready for war. Now you have Russia, that's getting ready for war. And Russia is looking at it saying, Austria-Hungary, if you invade Serbia, we are going to invade you. Well, Germany then looks and says, Russia, if you invade Austria-Hungary because they invaded Serbia, we are going to invade you. And then France looks at Germany and says, Germany, if you invade Russia because Russia invaded Austria-Hungary because Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia, then we are going to invade you. And then Britain looks and says, as long as you guys, Germany and Austria-Hungary, you guys leave France alone, we won't get involved. Well, now we look at Germany. Germany has a problem. Remember, they're the middle of the continent. On their western front, they have Russia. On their eastern front, they have Russia. On their western front, they have France. They've got a big problem. They realize they have to attack one of them. France is much, much stronger in their mind. France will be able to defeat them much more easily than they would otherwise. Germany looks at Russia and says, you guys will be a problem, but we can deal with you. So Germany has to fight two enemies if they go to war, one on each side. One of them, in their mind, obviously stronger, and that's France. Russia, they can deal with later. So for decades, Germany had been developing plans and ideas and battle strategies of how to win a war against an enemy that is on both sides of you. And the plan that came to be known is called the Schlieffen Plan. Now, there's some historians out there that say they shouldn't call it the Schlieffen Plan, and there really was no Schlieffen Plan. There's just plans. Well, regardless of how you look at it, we're going to look at it as the Schlieffen Plan was actually there. So the Schlieffen Plan was this. Germany, for decades, again, a long time, been looking at it and saying, okay, we got a problem. We got France over here. We got Russia over here. We can defeat either one of them very easily. But we cannot defeat if they both attack us at the same time. It won't happen. We can't do that. So they devised a Schlieffen Plan. Now, the plan was that they would go, Germany would mobilize its military, its army, and then it's an awesome army, brilliant. Like a huge army, well-equipped, well-trained, disciplined army. So disciplined. They would go and they would smash France while Russia is still trying to get all of its troops mobilized. Then before or after they smash France, they'll turn around and bring their whole military through and smash Russia before they're able to mobilize. And they realize they have like a very short time, like 2 weeks to 2 months to get this done. Before Russia can fully mobilize, they have to crush France, then turn around and face Russia as they are invading through. The problem is that in order to do this Schlieffen Plan, Germany would have to go through Belgium. Now, for those who don't know anything about World War I or the alliances or the geography of Russia, or no, geography of Europe and the political things going on there, Belgium was a tiny little country crammed to the north in between Germany and France. Remember, Germany and France had just fought a war a few decades before this, and France had been utterly just whooped. Germany wiped the floor with them. And so France had fortified the border between France and Germany. They said if they're going to attack us again, if Germany's going to come here again, this will help stop them. Well, Germany didn't want to fight that. So they wanted to go through a part of the border that was open, that was free for easy attacking. And that border was Belgium, because France hadn't built anything between Belgium and France. But in order to go through Belgium, this tiny little country, as soon as they marched into Belgium, Belgium was a neutral country. They said, we will not have anything to do with this. Because, again, they were so small, they wouldn't have been able to stop anybody anyhow. So they said, we're not going to get involved. You guys fight it out on your own. Leave us alone. And to help you leave us alone, we're allied with Britain. And Britain has got the best navy. They've got awesome military. Not a big army, but a good army that they have there, veterans that are well trained and know what's going on. So if you mess with us, France, if you mess with us, Belgium, you got to mess with Britain. So here's what happens. On July 25th, Serbia begins to mobilize, and Russia begins to mobilize because they realize that Austria-Hungary has been mobilizing for a few weeks now, and they're going to attack. They're going to invade. So when that happens, on July 28th, Austria-Hungary, the empire, officially declares war on Serbia. 2 days later, Russia officially declares war on Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary is in a problem, though, because they have a big problem. They're very diverse. They have 11 official languages and close to 6 different translations of their national anthem. They are not a unified empire. And so they would struggle throughout this war with that problem. But July 30th, Russia fully mobilizes, or tells its military to begin fully mobilizing. Germany, on the 31st of July, begins fully mobilizing and does 2 things. First of all, before this, actually, it did something before. So it looked at Russia and said, Russia, stop mobilizing your military. Do not come to Serbia's aid. Don't do it. If you do, we will attack you. Well, Russia ignored them. They continue to mobilize. July 31st rolls around, and Russia, as they're mobilizing, Germany does 2 things. First of all, it tells France, it looks at France and says, France, don't mobilize. Stay out of this. We may fight Russia, but that's only because they're fighting Austria-Hungary. They're fighting our ally. We don't have a fight with you. That's what they told France. That wasn't the truth, though. They also looked at Britain, and they said, Britain, what are you going to do? Who are you going to fight for here? Because honestly, at this point in the war, there were no official good guys and bad guys. And that's one of the things that's confusing about World War I, is that at the end of the war, Germany gets labeled as the bad guys, especially in Western European and in American mindsets. In the Western world, Germany was the bad guy in World War I because they're the bad guy in World War II. And America joined against Germany in World War I. So obviously America's the good guy, so Germany has to be the bad guy. The other team has to be the bad guy. But at this point, there wasn't that way. Britain didn't know if it even wanted to get into the war, and if it did, what side would they fight on? They had fought with Austria-Hungary in some wars. They had fought against Austria-Hungary in other wars. They had fought with the provinces of Germany and against the provinces of Germany. They had fought with and against Russia. It's all confusing what's going on here. So Germany looks at Britain and says, what side are you going to be on? What are you going to do? And Britain says, well, as long as you leave Belgium and France alone, we won't get involved. Not going to happen. We don't want to get involved in stuff that's happening on the continent. We'll stay here in our island. You guys deal with your problems. Well, little did they know that Germany had their Schlieffen plan. And Germany looked at it and they weighed the costs. They said, is it worth going through Belgium, getting rid of their neutrality? Is it worth attacking France, destroying them, swinging around, then attacking Russia and destroying them? Is that worth angering the British Isles? And in the end, they said yes, it was. So that's what they did. On August 2nd, Germany moves into its tiny little country of Luxembourg and then declares war on France on August 3rd. After that, August 4th, August 3rd, they begin to move towards Belgium. They break the neutrality and they look at Belgium and they say, we are simply marching through your country. We don't want to fight you. We don't want to bother you. We know you have fortresses. We know you have military, but you guys are small. This fight is not with you. We simply need to march through. Let us get to France. Leave us alone. Well, when they march through Belgium, Britain declares war on Germany on August 4th. And the World War is starting to begin. Less than a month and a half after Archduke Ferdinand is assassinated. Less than a month and a half when the contagion takes place, and it had taken root a long time before this, but comes and bears fruit of nationalism and freedom and this idea, militarism and imperialism, all this stuff. Less than a month and a half after the assassination takes place, Europe is plunged into a war that they have not seen, similar to 100 years to Napoleon, and that Europe has never seen before. Millions of people will die. Hundreds of thousands of situations will develop through this. Billions of dollars will be drained into this, and an entire generation will be utterly changed because of a contagion, because of an idea. Next video, we're going to discuss what Germany did as they marched through Belgium. We're going to discuss Belgium's reaction and what took place there. Also, we'll look a little bit of Austria-Hungary as they are dealing with Serbia. What is Russia doing? What is France doing? And what is the United States doing while this all is happening? I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm really excited about what's going on here and how these different things are changing and altering. And it's exciting for me. I wished I was in the classroom with you guys, but this is the next best way I'm able to do this. I am going to start issuing homework assignments, but I'm doing them on my own. I'm creating kind of like online quizzes type thing where I will attach the link. It'll be downstairs in the comment section. So just go right here. You're on the first floor here. Just go down to the comments section or right underneath here, and it'll be down there. Go ahead and click on that link. Go to it. There's 7 questions that go over the last 3 videos that'll help you make sure that you are remembering what you're being taught here, and it'll show me that you are actually doing it as well. There's 1 question at the beginning. Just put your first name in there, or if you're unsure about when to put your first name in there, just put your initials so I know who's watching this and who's doing the assignments. Thanks. Hope you had a good day.